Hey, it's Dan with Provincial Mills. I want to go over a couple of the Bortoletti products, the dip pens, and the different sets. The first set that we're going to cover is the nib holder with the glass nib that you can purchase. The glass nibs are removable, so if you ever break one, you can get a replacement, and they just slide right in. The second set that I'm going to cover is the nib holder that actually holds the metal nibs. Okay, so a couple things that I want to talk about is with every set you're going to get the Bortoletti calligraphy ink, which works great with these two pens. But when we go over the glass nib, I'm going to give you a second option with that as well. Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick is with these sets that take the nibs, you can actually purchase the glass nibs separate, and these will work in these pen nib holders as well. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to pull this metal piece out. It's a ferrule. It's the part that holds the metal nib. And if you take your fingernail, you can just work it out. It just slides in there. It's held by friction. And then you can slide the glass nib in there. Now on the opposite side, let me put this all back together. On the opposite side, if you buy the set with the glass nib, it is made just to use the glass nib. Okay, it does not have that metal piece that goes in here that holds the metal nibs. Now, you can buy that separately as well if you want to. If you like this pen, you like the glass nib, but you want to use it with metal nibs as well, you can buy these metal ferrules and it will slide in here, and now you can use a glass nib or metal nibs with this pen as well. Now, let's go over the glass nib first. I told you get the calligraphy ink, the Bortoletti calligraphy ink with every set. And it works great with this glass nib. But I'm going to give you a second option after I show you how it looks with this. On the glass nibs, you're going to dip the glass nib into the ink to about right here. And if you can see all these like furrows, valleys in the glass, that's what holds the ink as you're writing. So it slowly travels down towards the tip of the glass nib, and you can write with it. So I'm going to dip that in there. This is the Bortoletti calligraphy ink. And I'm going to show you how this looks. Okay, now you can see with the glass nib, there's no variation in lines or anything. I'm hardly pressing down, and that ink's flowing right off. It's very comfortable to write with, great for letters, things of that nature. This was the calligraphy ink. Now, my second option, and this is what I prefer, I actually like using fountain pen ink with these glass nibs. And you'll see the fountain pen ink is a little thinner of an ink, and it flows a lot quicker. Let me clean this off real quick. So you can see the difference. And here's a fountain pen ink that I'm going to be using. It's the Monteverde fountain pen ink. I'm going to just dip the glass nib in there. You can kind of see how far I've dipped it in. And Oops. You can see that the fountain pen ink flows just fine off of these glass nibs. So yes, I prefer fountain pen inks with the glass nibs, but the calligraphy inks work just fine with them as well. One thing to keep in mind, the calligraphy inks are permanent. Most fountain pen inks are water-based and they are not waterproof. So if you get water on the paper, then it will run. Now I'm going to go over cleaning these things with you guys as well real quick. Now let's just talk about the metal nibs real quick. Bortoletti, with most sets, you're going to get 3 options in nibs. Most of the time, the nibs, you're going to get a very soft nib, which is great for calligraphy, and I will use one of those to show you. Then you'll get a medium and a hard tip, and those are great for letter writing, taking notes, things of that nature. But if you want to do calligraphy, they always give you a soft one. I hope you can see this, where when you're pressing down, you can see those tines separate. Those are the softer nibs, and you should get one with every Bortoletti set, where it's really great for calligraphy. As far as inks go with the metal nibs, I prefer the calligraphy ink with these, with the metal nibs, because I don't want the ink to flow off of them so quick, and I'll try and show you with the fountain pen ink what it does. But when you're using the soft nib for calligraphy type stuff, you're going to vary your pressure down, and you're going to get line variation, where downstrokes are going to be a little thicker, side strokes are a little thinner, and then upstrokes are going to be very skinny, because you're putting very little pressure at all down on any upstrokes. Oh, I'm messing up already. But hopefully you guys can see the difference in the downstrokes versus the upstrokes. Okay, so that, if I can pull it up here, you can see on the downstrokes how thick the lines get, and then on the upstrokes they're very, very skinny. That's what this soft nib is going to do for you. And let me try and do it with fountain pen ink and show you what happens sometimes when we do it with the fountain pen ink. Like I said, the fountain pen ink is a lot thinner of an ink, so it does run off the nib much quicker. Okay. Yeah, see, it's doing it right there. So I'm catching the paper because I'm using Gilet Low paper, and it has, it's a rougher paper. And see, I'm already out because that ink just flows so quickly off. Let's see if I can make it look good now. And it's already out again. Now let me show you this. You guys can see how that ink just flows so quickly off of the metal nib, and you're going to have a lot of areas where you'll start get pooling and it just doesn't look good. Over here on the L as well. So that's why I prefer the calligraphy ink with the metal nibs. So glass nibs, I prefer the fountain pen ink, but I can use the calligraphy ink. Metal nibs, I prefer the calligraphy ink, and I know some people use fountain pen ink with the dip pens with metal nibs, but I do not. I just stick with the Bortoletti calligraphy ink. Last thing I want to talk about is make sure once you're done with these, make sure you're cleaning them good. Make sure you get all that ink off of those nibs. If you start not cleaning your nibs, you're going to get dried ink in there, and it's going to affect how well the nib writes. And if you want your nibs to last a long time and write good, make sure you are cleaning them well. I just use room temperature water, dip them in the water, and then wipe them off with paper towel. When you're wiping them off with paper towel, I try and go towards the nib just so you don't get paper. I'm sorry, you can't even see that. Paper into the tines, and it will catch. So just dry it off. As far as the glass nibs go, once again, just in water. And try and get all that ink out of those valleys. Now, I know that was a quick video, but I just want to go over the sets and what inks to use, and just a couple things on the cleaning. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to email me at provincialmills@outlook.com, and I would be glad to answer any questions you have. You can also call us, or if you're going to be at a pen show that we're attending that's close to you, let us know, and we'll meet up. But thank you for watching, and take care.